Good. Good. All right, everybody, we'll go ahead and get started with Justin Thomas here in the Media Center at the WM Phoenix Open. Justin, third start of the season, 2 top tens. I know you weren't able to finish the job at Pebble, but just some opening comments on your game entering the week here.
Yeah, I feel like I'm playing well. I feel like things are continuing to trend in the right direction. Back at a place I really enjoy, and feel like I've had a couple chances to win in past and haven't been able to. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this isn't a sign of things to come for the weather and the PGA Tour season. How these last couple of weeks have been, but no, it's always enjoyable here, and yeah, I'm excited to get going.
And you mentioned this being a place you're comfortable at. You have 4 top tens in the last 5 years here, just tied for the most of anyone on tour. I guess just what is it about this venue? Is it the atmosphere on 16 and in general? I mean, what is it about this place that seems to kind of bring out the best in your game?
I think it definitely, in my opinion, it fits. It's definitely a benefit to be a longer hitter. I think you have a couple holes where you can take a couple bunkers out of play, or even with the rain that I think they've gotten, the greens are still not soft. At least they're very, very firm compared to Pebble last week. But it's just, I think with the par 5s hitting long irons into the greens, or even woods, being able to hit irons up in the air and feel like you can kind of hold the greens or stop them, I think is an advantage. But also I feel like I know how to get it around here pretty well. I feel like I've stayed patient every year, and I just kind of wait on my little run whenever it happens over the course of 72 holes, and just try to minimize the mistakes.
And then just speaking to the crowd atmosphere out here on 16, you've always been someone to get the fans hyped out there. What if anything does that do, or do you look forward to just being able to interact with the fans in that way this week?
Yeah, it's very unique. I think it's great that there's one a year, because they do it right. I think people underestimate that. When you have how many people are on the hole? What, 20,000-ish? 20,000 people in one place. When there's a lot of constant noise, it doesn't it just is almost like a white noise sound. But when you get 1,000 people and you get a couple people that decide to be that person, then it's just kind of annoying. So it's great here, and yeah, they've done a great job of trying to control the chaos as much as they can. But I always enjoy the banter and trying to, more than anything, try to hit it close and try to make a birdie, because they ain't scared to boo you no matter who you are.
Perfect. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with questions. Just go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll get a mic to you. We'll start with Kira here in the back.
Hey, JT, I know we've talked about this a bit, but when you think back to 2023, what did you see in your swing at the time that you were trying to change? And at what point now with the swing did you decide to kind of go back to where you were before any of those changes?
Yeah, I definitely, over the years or in my career, I feel like I've, my dad will be the first to tell you, and I will too now, as I chase perfect maybe a little bit too much, or it's just a tendency I think a lot of us have. Maybe not necessarily perfect, but wanting your swing to look a certain way. And I felt like my hands were really, really I've always had high hands, but I felt like they were just creeping a little too much. I just felt like it was something that was, I just kind of needed to monitor. And so I wanted to just try to get them a little bit lower. And because of that, I ended up doing it off of the ball instead of at the top. So I just would basically suck it inside, get my hands way inside, and then my club would get really steep going back. And then because of that, I had to lay it down to get it on a good plane. And it just was, I look back at videos from last year, and I'm not surprised that I played as inconsistently as I did, because I said it last year. I really do feel like I have good enough hands to make it work, a couple of days a week, but it's just completely unrealistic to do that for 4 days. And as good as the players are out here, I think it's I was making it very hard on myself. But honestly, it was after the British Open, obviously a very long flight home. I really just was looking at current videos, old videos. I have a folder on my phone of, all of my favorite swing videos over the years and ones that I like the most. And I really couldn't fathom or understand how I got that far off. So just trying to, kind of like you said, get back into some old habits, some things that maybe I don't like how it looks as much, but just that's in my DNA. That makes me who I am. And it's taken and still is a lot of golf balls to get that muscle memory back and get it in a spot that I'm comfortable with. But I sure like this version a lot better.
All right, let's go to Dan right here.
Rory was talking last week about a phone call he had with Jordan about a disagreement about the path forward. With the Strategic Sports Group deal now in place, do you feel like the tour can go on its own now, or do you still feel like there needs to be this coming together sort of for the good of the game?
I'm not necessarily super adamant in one way or the other. I think I want the best product and the best players. I would say that, there's a handful of players on LIV that would make the tour a better place, but I'm definitely not in the agreement that should just be able to come back that easily. I think there's a lot of us that made sacrifices and we're very, either whether it's true to our word or what we believe in, or just didn't make that decision. And I totally understand that things are changing and things are getting better, but I would have a hard time with it, and I think a lot of guys would have a hard time with it, and I'm sure we don't need to convince you why we would have a hard time with it. So, I think there's a scenario somewhere, whatever it is, down the road of some kind of version of some guys being back, but when and what that is, I have no idea.
And then do you get the sense that Strategic Sports Group is going to make significant changes to the PGA? Because obviously they're investing money, they want to change the product. Or do you think it will look pretty similar, at least initially?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. Like you said, it's not, you don't get to be who they are, and you also don't invest that much money for fun just because you love the game of golf. Like, clearly this is something that they view as an investment, and to be able to have it grow, which is exciting as a player, but also as a fan of golf, because for that to continue to grow and get better, then our product is going to get better, which is going to be more fan friendly to watch. Everything about it should continue to get better and more watchable and enjoyable, and just people wanting to be fans of golf. So that part of it is exciting to me, both as a player and as a fan.
All right, Ben, right over here.
Mate, Adam Scott once told me that after a down year in 2009, he was picked for the International President's Cup team sort of out of the blue, or maybe there was a debate whether he should be on that team or not. But being picked catapulted his confidence back and sent him to the best 4 years of his career, etc., winning the Masters, whatnot, world number one. Is there any sort of, similarity to you getting that confidence boost and getting kicked back into gear at the end of last year?
It definitely gave me a lot of confidence boost, but it was unbelievable the amount of relief that I had playing in Napa versus when I played in Minnesota and Wyndham in the rest of the season. Like, I knew I was thinking about it, but I didn't realize how much it was consuming my life. And it's wild. It's like it clearly is a problem because there were other issues, but I just was trying so hard to make that team and to play well to where I earned that spot on the team. I'd never been picked, and I didn't want to have to be picked. I wanted to qualify, and then it was like I wasn't playing well, and now I'm like, I really have to earn my pick, and it just, it was more of a relief for me, like mentally and emotionally than anything. But talking to the guys, whether it was at the practice session or that week, and kind of hearing how the conversations went, there were just things that guys told me and their confidence in me that they didn't need to tell me, but was very nice of them, that definitely made me feel a lot better about the situation.
And I'll just add, I guess all the trends and all the numbers and everything point to you having a massive week here like you normally do. So I'll flip it on you. What's the one thing, I guess, that stopped you from maybe just getting over the finish line here?
I haven't had a good Sunday when I've been in contention. I've backdoored a couple top fives. I think this is a place where, yeah, if you have a hot week, I mean, I feel like for me the two keys are driving it well and putting it well. I think if I drive it well, I should make very, very, very few bogeys. And then if you're putting it well, you can just make so many birdies. That's obviously extremely duh, like if you drive it or putt it well any week. But I just, there's some courses I feel like you can kind of just, maybe I don't need to putt great or whatever, but it's just it's a huge advantage if I do. I feel like if I'm able to do, hit good drives in the par fives, take advantage of those, and some of the longer par fours where, maybe you're without a good drive is you're trying to make 5 or 4, and then all of a sudden turns into a birdie hole. So it could just be wanting to win too bad and just trying a little too hard.
Kevin?
Hey, Justin, I'm curious with hole 16. I know at this point in time it's kind of crossed over to casual fans and sports fans know about it and ask about it. But when you were younger, like before you were a tour player, were you aware of it, like the Tiger Ace and the history and such, or how does that experience compare to what you might expect kind of before you actually play it?
I can't honestly remember what all I remembered just, as a junior player. I mean, I probably idolized and watched everything Tiger did, so I definitely had seen that ace, and maybe I didn't realize what the hole was like at the time. But, yeah, as I was, junior golf, amateur golf, and whatnot, it was always fun and exciting to see. But it definitely doesn't I didn't think it got me ready or prepared for what I felt like. It's just the adrenaline and the nerves. It's in my opinion, similar to trying to win a golf tournament, a big golf tournament. And I think the hardest part that I always say is that you have to just hit like a nice little like finesse, great distance controlled short iron. And that's a hard thing to do when you have a lot of adrenaline. You just want to tee it as high as you can and swing as hard as you can in the driver. But, you have to just kind of feather a little 8 or 9 iron in there, and this part of the green falls off and this one runs away. So it's definitely one you have to kind of calm yourself down.
And then with Bud Cauley coming back, what would you say? What's it mean for him to be back, and what has his friendship meant to you through the years?
Yeah, I'm so excited Bud's back. I'm really happy, and I'm just proud of him because I know that he's had a lot of time and thinking of, is this going to ever get fixed? Is it going to be cured? Am I going to play golf again? And I know how good Bud is, and I know his raw talent. And I just wanted to keep him positive and keep telling him, because my thing I always said is I'm like, it's going to work out, that whatever, just time will heal, whatever. But like, he's just too good of a player to not have won out here at some point. And I truly do think, if he can continue to fix this issue and to keep getting better and better, he's just so good and so talented that he just has had an unfortunate go with injuries in the past and not really getting a rhythm. But I'm excited that he's back, and he's one of my best friends in the world. So it's fun to have him here.
Just go here in the middle.
Hey, JT. I'm just wondering, since the first time you've played the 16th hole, have those nerves decreased over time, or you've gotten used to it, or are those nerves still higher than maybe just a normal hole?
They're definitely higher than a normal hole. I would say they're still there. It's maybe different than the first time. But it's hard to hit. You have some of those pins that are pretty severe and very, the green's very undulated around the pin. So, you have to be very cautious of your speed. And the last thing you want to do, when you have 20,000 drunk people yelling at you, is to run it 4 feet past. You don't want that. So then you're trying to manage your speed, and it's a great, it's a great test for where you at and how you handle nerves, I would say. But it doesn't just go away, or at least it hasn't for me.
All right, let's go to Adam up here.
Going back to Bud, what's the scouting report on his game right now, and is it true he's been beating you a bunch?
Yeah, he's been kicking my ass at home, that's for sure. It's. He's been playing well. He played well, and the 2 events that he came back in the Bahamas, the Korn Ferry events, and I can't imagine what he was feeling in that first event, because I mean I definitely am not comparing the two in any way, but I mean, if I have a month off of competitive golf, the amount of rust I feel my first round, let alone 4 years, multiple years. So to come back and play that well and consistently, I think speaks volume to where he's at. But I'm also sure he has a totally different perspective out there while he's playing. With the accident and the injuries, and being a dad now, and so I hope that, like I said, I hope it can continue, and he can continue to get better and stronger physically. But I think that the tour's a better place with BC out here.
With the new deal and the tour having a for-profit business and tour players being equity owners, what's an example of something you think you'll be more willing to do now that you're quote-unquote an owner versus just being an independent contractor?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I mean, I don't think I would do that much differently. I mean, I feel like I'm not. It's not like I've said no to things in the past to where it's like, oh, like I'm not doing this because it's going to benefit the tour and it's not going to benefit me. You know what I'm saying?
You think you or other guys will be more willing to do walk and talks and be mic'd and stuff like that?
I don't know. Everybody's different. I mean, at the end of the day, I can create more equity for myself by playing better and winning more golf tournaments and majors and FedEx Cups, so on and so forth. So if I feel that is in my best interest to do so, then I will. But me personally, I don't foresee myself making a decision based off of something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, the end goal is to win and play as well as I can in golf tournaments, and that's what I need to do. I feel like there could maybe be some things elsewhere, but like I said, I honestly hadn't really thought about it.
All right. Justin, thanks for the time.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.